just calm down, all right? Relax. Yeah. It's gonna be all right. Nobody's gonna hurt you. Just tell us what you want, all right? Yeah, I'm here to help you.
Help yourself, fucker!
What's going on, everyone? I'm Heath.
And I'm Jay.
You're listening to Host of Horrors, show where we discuss and review horror films based off of predetermined themes of the month. Jay!
Hey, it's also, as we know, to be Pride Month.
Woo!
So we're going to be here for the gays and the days and all the gals and the pals. And we're going to have a fun time while being scary.
Yeah. Watching queer-based horror films.
All right. So this first one that we watch for Pride Month in the month of June is something that has been hotly talked about as one of the genesis of queer horror films, at least in the past, 30, 40 or so years.
Yes. So we watched A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, directed by Jack Shoulder.
Shoulder?
Yes, Jack Shoulder. He actually did, what is that movie? Alone in the Dark?
He's shouldering a lot of stuff.
Yes,
all right.
Alone in the Dark. It's got Donald Pleasant in it.
Donald what now?
Donald Pleasant.
Who's
Dr. Loomis?
Oh,
Yeah.
So of course we're going back to Halloween. It always goes back to Halloween. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, always. I mean, Halloween. You know?
I mean, yeah, you're right.
But it's also the movie that inspired the documentary, and that's how I knew about. Because I remember watching it as a kid. It was one of my AMC Halloween-a-thons that was going on. But I mean, I didn't get any gay subtext. I wasn't looking for it. I was a kid. It was just Freddy killing bitches at a pool party.
You're just
That's all
killing
I saw.
people at a freaking pool party.
But I learned about it through Cecil Baldwin, who is from the podcast Welcome to Nightville fame. I love that podcast. But anyway, I learned because he was the narrator of a little documentary called Scream Queen. Which is basically...
We love being a Scream Queen in this house.
Which basically showcases the queer themes in this film. And so that's how I kind of learned about it. And after rewatching, yeah, I can totally see that. 100% I can get down with what they're picking up.
See, I totally thought just Scream Queen was a gay thing. Was like, oh yeah, like the gays that love horror. They're like, oh yeah, we love a Scream Queen. Like, technically, we have Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis
is one of the just originators.
Her mom definitely is like almost the originator.
The originator of the Scream Queen, Janet Leigh.
All right.
So, yeah, there's a long history of just like hashtag Final Girls, hashtag Scream Queens kind of coming up in the mist. And in this one, we have technically our first male Scream Queen.
Yes.
In the form of...
Jesse!
Jesse, the actor is Mark Patton, which he said this is like his only credit.
Essentially, I mean, he's done other things, like... He did that shitty Amityville Clown House.
What? That's the thing. Amityville what now?
Clown House. You know Asylum Studios?
The
studios that bring you like Sharknado and Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus. Those shitty films you see at Walmart.
The bootlegs.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I
essentially bootlegs.
Yeah, I call them C-tier cinema.
Not even B tier.
Fuck no.
C tier. Oh my
C-tier
god.
cinema. But yeah, you know the films you see. It's like you got the good films, and then you got boom. you
have Sharknado or Birdemic.
Hey, Birdemic is a classic.
A
I will
classic
not.
piece of shit.
You get out of my house right now, Samantha. You're taking his place.
We can talk about Birdemic later as a
Classic
Alfred-
cinema.
Alfred Hitchcock stan. Birdemic is both a classic and a piece of shit, and we all know it.
Hot take. I would rather watch Birdemic than I would Birds.
How
I said what I said.
how dare you? how dare you? I thought we were cool.
Evidently not.
I guess. Anyway, so Mark Patton is Jesse Walsh, a regular teenage boy who is fighting feelings, and it comes out in the form of Freddy Krueger.
Essentially, yeah.
Essentially, like he has feelings, and they come out as wanting to kill bitches. Like,
No, this is such a weird film. So just going from a Nightmare on Elm Street take, this is the almost like the middle child, or like almost like the step middle child of.
are you
the
saying
family.
that this is the Annie of the like Annie, the redheaded stepchild of like the Nightmare on Elm Street series?
But where Annie became famous and like, outshunned the rest of the family, this is just like its own thing. So every other film in the Nightmare on Elm Street mythos, even the shitty remake, 2010 shitty
I
remake.
forgot about that one.
I know, right? It's okay. It's okay to forget about that one. Even that one, even Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which kind of takes a meta take on it, even those stick to the mythos. This one it's just such an odd little film where Freddy essentially wants to possess Jesse's body. He's for some reason, for whatever reason, he is no longer okay with being the dream slasher. He wants to be in the real world, which in this film is okay. Because in every other film, when he goes into the real world, he's just a normal dude with butterfingers on his gloves. That's it. That's all he is. But in this one, he actually he sets things on fire. Anything he can do in the dream world, he can do in real life in this film. It blows my fucking mind. Like, he is the most powerful he has ever been in his cinematic universe. In any film that he's ever done, he is the most powerful in this film because he can do dream shit in the real world. He made a bird blow up. Fucking bird blew up, and these people are like, oh, well, we're still staying here. I don't give a shit what happens.
I think it's just the dad being just like extremely cheap as well, and basically denying everything happening. And I'm like, you are literally like burning up in your own home. There's something wrong if you're literally burning up in your own home. It should not be 97 degrees in your house and you're still alive.
Yeah,
you like, and especially with the bird, like a bird explodes equals me breaking my lease.
That tripped me out because I thought that was a dream.
I thought it was too. Let's talk about it. So, a lot of the sequences that happened, like, it makes you feel like you're in a dream world. But as it turns out, is real life. Like, and it feels like the more you meld the dream world of Jesse into real life, everything just like starts to get really confusing, which is cool because I think that was the point. But it's still like, oh, there's a lot going on here. I don't even know what's real and what's not anymore.
Yeah, well, they did that with other films where
Oculus.
Well, I'm talking about just in particular with A Nightmare on Elm Street. But yes, Oculus is.
It gave me heavy Oculus vibes.
But even the first Nightmare on Elm Street, there's moments where like Nancy's in her classroom and then all of a sudden she's in a dream, but you don't know she's in a dream until, midway through her walking about and shit. And then she wakes up and she's in class. This doesn't do that. This is just weird shit happens and you have to figure out if he's actually dreaming or if it's in the real world.
It feels like they were keeping up with that mythos and then kind of said fuck it halfway through. Like, with the first bus sequence, going on. Obviously, that was a dream.
Yeah.
But like when you go into stuff like him daydreaming and having the snake, the little cute boa constrictor, what it looks like all over him, and then it turns out that was real. You're just like, huh.
Well, there's even other things where like the teacher, and this was the weirdest thing ever because I thought this whole sequence was a dream. Now,
Oh, that sequence.
let me paint the scenario for you. High school kid leaves his home, walks half shirtless, like his shirt's unbuttoned and just showing off his beautiful little man tits that he had going on.
That was kind of like the vibe the whole movie, though.
Yeah,
Like they were showing him off a lot for a high schooler.
Mm-hmm.
Like even from the get go, like they had
He
his
had
little
some-
tushy out.
And he had some biddies too. Like, not even gonna lie, there was a part where if they didn't show his face a few seconds after they showed this, I thought they were showing tits. Like the where he's having the dream and he's squirming around. We don't see his face at first. You just see a chest with like prominent nipples poking through. And literally this man has, like, he's not chubby by no means, like they're not man tits, but he has some nice biddies going on. So it looked like he had some tits. Like acceptable grade A tits.
But this is also like talking about someone who's like potentially like a minor. So it's like,
Oh no, yeah. Well, it's
So
it's
it-
like watching those stupid American Pie movies
yeah,
where there's nudity galore, but they're technically teenagers.
it's like technically teenagers, but you're just like, why are they doing this?
It's like going to Japan and buying hentai, not expecting to see a high schooler.
I was gonna say it's like Euphoria. That works too, though.
I've never seen Euphoria.
Ooh.
You've talked a lot about it. I've never seen it.
It's yeah. It's
What?
it's a thing. It's a
Anyway.
thing. But it's just
So-
the fact that
Well,
yeah.
He walks, he's half shirtless, and he walks from his house all the way to downtown, where he goes into an S&M club, orders a beer, doesn't get carded, orders a beer, starts drinking the beer, his coach is there. Weird that his coach is there, but they brought it up in the beginning of the
It was,
film.
yeah,
so I
with
get,
him and
you know,
Grady, right? Was Grady was talking about
No,
it?
Grady was the friend. Snyder was the
No.
coach.
Grady was the friend that was talking about all of those rumors.
About the
all the rumors
him going
with
to
Snyder.
going
Yeah.
to S&M clubs, but finds him there. So okay, weird, but not that weird. What's weird is that coach keeping on his S&M clothing, his outfit, taking this kid to the high school late at night when it's closed, just to make him just to have him run laps, and then telling him to hit the shower.
Talk about a leather daddy.
Yes. Weird. Then fucking balls come out of nowhere and start pelting him in the face. And I know how weird that sounds, but hear me out. They were sports balls. Start pelting him in the face. And I'm sitting here. So this is before
Talking about balls to the face.
This is before they kind of established that Freddy Krueger can do his dream shit in the real world. I'm thinking, okay, Jesse's about to have a dream, or Jesse's in the middle of a dream, right? I'm thinking this is a weird scenario to have the
Very
coach,
weird.
have the coach late at night have you run laps. That's weird.
Run laps and just be like, oh, hit the showers and
Yeah, so I'm thinking, okay, Jesse's dreaming, and that's it. But it's the coach that gets assaulted. So I'm like, okay, is the coach in the dream with Jesse? Are they both dreaming? What the hell's going on? And he gets like wrapped up with a jump rope and tied in the shower, stripped butt naked, whipped in the ass with wet towels before Freddy comes out of nowhere, kills him, but Freddy ends up being Jesse. So it's like Freddy's doing it, obviously, because you got all this supernatural shit going on.
there's Freddy in the body of Jesse.
In the body of Jesse, yes.
And it like switches from like that. And you're just like, damn.
Yeah. So it's weird. It's like, again, like we were talking about, it's almost like you're watching the whole film, and it's not until a good way past the whole half point mark before you realize, oh, Freddy's doing shit in the real world. It's not all just a dream. But the whole
Mhm.
movie almost feels like a dream.
It makes you not really want to believe everything's actually over, because it almost starts the same way it begins when you think about it. And then it's also funny that the only difference between the first scene and the last scene is like there's a whole bunch of more kids in there. Jesse's looking all, not looking his normal self, because in the beginning of the film it was like you have this kid who almost looks like a complete nerd, almost like emo-ish.
He looked
Like the 70s, 80s version of what emo
God, what is
boy
that?
looks like.
What is that actor's name? He was in Back to the Future.
Like Michael J. Fox?
No, he was the thin guy in Charlie's Angels.
Are you talking about Crispin Glover? Was it Crispin?
Yeah, Crispin Glover. He looks like Crispin Glover.
God.
He did. In the beginning of the film, he looked like Crispin.
Yeah, I was just like...
That's a weird name. Who names their child Crispy? You know what got me?
What?
The fucking dad sitting there going... Like, they're talking about the house being warm and the AC not working. And the dad goes, oh, the AC is working. No, you don't have to fix it. There's nothing wrong with it. Just needs a shot of Freon.
Shot of Freon?
Motherfucker. Okay. If you even need to put Freon in your seal system, a sealed system is what... If you need to put Freon in it, then there's something wrong. You got a leak somewhere.
We keep on forgetting...
So you do need to fix it.
I keep on forgetting that you're a whole, appliance expert now.
It's not like you turn every time you turn your AC on, it's like gasoline where it's using up Freon. No, it don't work that way. So if you're shooting Freon into your system, guess what, motherfucker? You got a leak.
Just what if you just have an IV of just Freon, just kind of cute. Every time it's about to run out, just kind of cute.
You say that Freon right now, 410A, which is the most common refrigerant in most AC units, is $500 for a 30-pound drum. So yeah, you don't need to just be shooting Freon in. If you're low on Freon, motherfucker, figure out why.
It's the fact that you're just really going in on this.
Dude,
you're
Freon's
really going about it.
Freon is fucking expensive.
Everything's expensive if you want to be real.
Yeah. Welcome to the real world now.
I honestly...
Speaking of welcome to the real world.
I don't know about this real world, y'all. This dream world, real world mess. It feels like a lot. And I don't know, Freddy... I feel like I would just shit my pants if I saw Freddy as compared to everyone else.
Dude.
Because everyone else is has some form of grounded realness to him. Freddy is a literally evil itself. We've talked about how Michael Myers is being personified as the personification of evil and all that, but this is the most supernatural super slasher shit.
Yeah, where
at least one of them anyway.
Where Michael Myers is super buff, but also just a human, essentially. That's kind of how I see it. It's he's a super strong human. Even in all his movies, even though you stab him and shit and he comes back to life, you still can stab him and you shove him down some stairs and shit, Jason Voorhees, he's just a zombie. He was a hillbilly and then turned into a zombie.
And then you got Bubba, from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
You just call him Bubba?
Bubba.
It's Leatherface. You just call Leatherface Bubba?
Yes, I did.
The disrespect.
I don't like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's why.
Chucky's
I don't like
the
it.
worst one. Even though he's my favorite slasher, I love me some Chucky. Chucky, Hello Kitty.
And there's a whole knife right here too.
There is a whole knife. Chucky, Hello Kitty. I love Chucky.
So what about him?
He's just a doll. He's just a fucking doll.
Honestly,
he's a 3-pound doll.
I put Chucky in the same vein as Freddy because that's a supernatural ass doll. He doesn't have
powers.
You don't see dolls that just come to life though.
I get it, but it's just a regular serial killer that put his soul into a doll because of voodoo. It's just a normal person in a doll.
It's just the fact that there's an excuse for that. There's even an explanation that makes sense for why Chucky is the way it is. There's not really much of an explanation for Freddy.
No, there's not.
There's
he was serial killer. He died, and he didn't leave.
And he just exists. He's just there.
Yeah.
And you're just like, does that mean? Well, in the diary, let's say like his evil itself. He is evil itself. And you can fight it, and there's like I guess a way to defeat him, but it just feels like it's more so at bay. Like,
Well,
I feel like out of all of the slasher villains, like iconic ones, Freddy's the one you can't really get rid of like that at all.
Not get rid of, because they kind of fucked themselves with that. With like the first film, they did the surprise ending. He never actually died. That Wes Craven never wanted to do. If they would have kept it how Wes Craven wanted, Freddy's weakness is the real world. In the real world, he's just a normal, average guy. He's got a cool little weapon, but he's just an average guy. It's the dream world where he has all his power. So if you could ever, in the dream world, get a hold of him, wake up while you're holding him, boom, he's in the real world. And then you got a fair fight. I mean, you still got to fight him, but you got a fair fight. That's where this movie kind of fucks up, because he has all that power in the real world. So Freddy is almost unbeatable in this movie. Like they pulled
a lot of stops.
They did a Deus Ex Machina at the end. Like they pulled something out of their ass to make him vulnerable.
Yeah, it did feel like that, but it made for nice cinema. it made me interested. I was like, oh, is he really about to die? Oh, I guess he is. Oh, I guess he's not. But I really did like that last scene though, to where Lisa and Jesse were like they were in the what the fuck is that called? The factory. And everything starts to like the fire starts to decapitate, and all you see is just like a rotten corpse. And then you see that Jesse's like taking the mask off and all of that. Mm-hmm. And you're just like, you know what? I was so confused by that. But then again, even though they also show Jesse, still technically being alive or whatever after he literally gets cut open and Freddy comes out of him, that was freaky. And that was really freaky.
The practical effects and the body horror in this movie was pretty good. I mean, there's some moments where it's, clearly dated.
I mean, it's 1987? 1986?
Oh, God, no, earlier than that.
Because the first one was in 1984. When was this one? This was 1985.
So it came out a year afterwards. But, I mean, there's clearly, like, when he comes out of Jesse's body, it's clearly, like, a rubber suit. There's moments like that, but I don't give a shit.
It worked.
Yeah, no, especially when, like, Freddy's glove was popping out of his hand, and then it started, like, decaying open. Ooh!
That was kind of freaky. But, I don't know, it's just, like, it just confused the crap out of me. How, like, they go back and forth between, yeah, this is Jesse, yeah, this is Freddy. And, like, seeing Freddy literally come out of Jesse, but yet you look in the mirror, Jesse's right there, and then Freddy's in the mirror. And it just, I feel like it takes liberties that, if it weren't for the fact that this movie kind of plays it off very well, that you just kind of like, the whole mythos just falls apart.
Yeah.
And everything, the rules set in play feel like they fall apart. And it feels like Halloween 2 all over again.
Yeah, where Halloween 2 at least was like a direct sequel to the first one, and they did kind of end it satisfactory, where they killed off Michael Myers, and it was supposed to be the end. Michael Myers was done. This just seems like they didn't know how to continue with Nightmare on Elm Street. Like,
it feels like they're trying to go for anthology, but yet didn't really go with anthology. They tried it and then are like, oh no, and went back for the third one.
Again, it's like they didn't know what to do with it, because Wes Craven created this self-contained little horror movie, And the producers at New Line Cinema, who was a new studio at the time, would have went bankrupt if Nightmare on Elm Street didn't do well. That's why it's called the house that Freddy built.
Wasn't New Line like the same vein as A24 now, like distribution?
Yeah, they were distributing. So essentially, the guy was selling DVDs out of the trunk of his car, but he was a distribution center. He wasn't really a studio. But Wes Craven was having issues getting a studio to back Nightmare on Elm Street up. Finally, New Line Cinema was like, "Yes, we'll back it up," even though they had no money.
They're like, there's no money involved yet. That all they were running on were vibes and vibes alone.
But they found the money somehow, and Nightmare on Elm Street, boom, lifted them up. But the producers, or I don't know his name, but the guy, the main guy at New Line Cinema, the president at the time, El Presidente, he wanted to essentially make it to where a sequel could happen. Because if this movie did well, which he had faith it was going to do well, he knew this was going to be a good movie. If it did well, he could sell sequels and, essentially make New Line Cinema something, get money backing that off. So
okay.
You take a self-contained film that never needed a sequel, and then a year later make a sequel. They didn't know what the fuck they were doing. They didn't know how to make a sequel. They were just like, okay, well, we got this guy who is it's creepy burnt victim with a cool weapon. Do something, and they did something all right.
They did something all right and made it like low key queer along the way. So,
which I love that the director to this day is like, I never meant to do that.
See, you were never meant to do it, but it did it. So
you did it, sir.
So okay, so since it's Pride Month, like I said, we're gonna talk about the gay shit. I always wanted to know, because me, a whole queer looking at it, I was like, okay, I can see what you're trying to do, but it feels like there's a lot of inference. Like, was he dreaming about? Was he like low key dreaming about his coach? Was he dreaming about Grady? Like, that's kind of where my extent of the queerness came from, but it wasn't really. I guess because like I'm coming from like a 2022 perspective, instead of like a 1985 perspective. Like, what you think?
I can
straight
see
man.
L straight man.
L straight man.
So
L hetero.
The way I see it, if you do take it in a 1985 manner, Jesse probably lives in a very conservative household where being gay is just not an option. So I see it as Freddy Krueger as a representation of the monster, aka being gay.
The gay agenda. Not Freddy Krueger being the gay agenda.
Yes.
Oh my god. Imagine Freddy Krueger being the gay agenda.
Yeah, just replace the sweater. Just give him a pride flag sweater. And
oh
boom.
My god, give him a rainbow sweater, and honestly, that should be our fucking pride flag right there. Just Freddy Krueger's freaking sweater. That's it right there. But
that's how I see it. I see it as Freddy Krueger is the representation of the gayness, like him being gay, but bottling it down, and it's erupting in moments that aren't prevalent for him. Let's say like when he's doing the sex scene with Lisa, and then the tongue plops out. Well, the next thing he does is go to his best friend Grady.
Best friend / bully.
Yeah, that's a little weird that they start out as like Grady being a total dick to him, and there's no time in between. It's like what this film takes place within like a span of maybe a couple of weeks.
Maybe 2 weeks, yeah.
Well, but like literally it goes from him bullying him at gym class, him bullying him at science or biology or whatever the fuck they're taking, and then all of a sudden they're sitting together at lunch. And then he's going to his house late at night.
Maybe trauma bonding?
Trauma bonding?
Well, sometimes...
Maybe Grady's fighting the gay monster as well.
Yeah, who knows? His own little hormone monster.
Yeah, it's kind of like when like that the kid who punches you in first grade and you're like, why is she punching me? And your mom goes, it's because she likes you.
Oh my god.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Grady was being a bully because he wanted that Jesse dick.
I mean, the way that he came for Pants, oh boy, saw all his butt
Yeah.
in the open. I'm just like, that was a little bit too well. That was well planned.
Are you supposed to wear a jockstrap like that?
Well, back in the 80s, like a lot of people wore jock straps like that for sports reasons.
Well, no, I understand that, but like he didn't have any underwear on.
Like you,
Every time I wore a jockstrap, I put my underwear on over it.
Oh, some people do that. Some people don't have to. You know, you do, and then you don't. You don't have to.
I know you don't
But
have to,
also,
but
like,
that's weird. Why wouldn't you?
I mean, it'd be like that. Like, it'd be like that. Because I know.
It's weird.
I'm sorry. A lot of modern jock wearers wear it with no underwear, usually with the intent of not having it on for long. But I think even with sports, it allows for a little bit less chafing if you put on underwear. If you don't put on underwear, like there's not really much in the form of chafing.
Why would you chafe? Like I don't see why you would chafe.
Chafing, or like there's a lot of friction that happens down there. You know that.
I mean, I
there's a lot of friction that
maybe
happens.
I'm just not a sports guy.
You're not, and I'm not as much. But like even when I'm wearing like a jockstrap, when I'm like working and stuff, because I move around a lot. I know you move around a lot, but I move around a lot. I be you know I be chafing. I wouldn't say chafing, but like there's a reason why jock itch is a thing. That's the reason. That's why there's that jock itch cream.
Yeah,
that was found. Yeah,
I don't think I've ever had that problem though.
Well, lucky you. You somewhat skinny, lanky son of a bitch.
It's true. Maybe that's my issue.
Whatever. Anyway, it's just that I think coming from a modern perspective, there's not for me. I guess is not as many overtly queer like experiences that I see in this film, but I can see where some people can be like, gay. And
I you know my that montage, that was my gay.
Wait,
that was a pretty gay montage.
That was a funny montage.
That was good.
And then
even Jesse had a montage.
Also feel like I also feel like the way that they were shooting Jesse a lot of times also was like alluding to that. Like, I know it's not like in the same vein as like Clown House, but it kind of gives off like a similar energy to where it's like they were shooting with the intent of like trying to possibly sexualize him.
Oh, the same thing with Grady.
Hmm?
Same thing with Grady. Like, honestly, they sexualize the men in this film more than the women.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think everybody was like, there's a lot. Everybody, all of the kids were like some form of there was some form of sexualization in this film. Like, because
I don't know, like
the pool party, obvious,
but everyone's wearing like swimming suits. That's about it.
There's except for like that one part where the swimsuit kind of came off.
But you didn't see anything.
Yeah, you see anything.
You like literally.
But
any other horror film would have focused on the girls more than the guys. The guys got all the focus. Because Lisa, even her being like the main female protagonist, she didn't
really get anything
at all.
You got more.
You got like, side boob action a little,
but you got more like face. Like you got more like her inferring that like, oh, this is turning me on kind of stuff, and then the tongue comes out. So with the guys, yeah, like even from the get-go, even, you know, for the reasonable explanation that, oh yeah, no, the house is hot as hell, he was still shot in, like, his first thing that we see him in the real world is him in his underwear, wet.
Drenched in sweat.
And everything else is like him, like, it was like not really wearing anything underneath his, like, you know, shirts. Like, he was like pretty much like surfer boy shirtless half the time, like where he's like, yeah, like you said, half naked, half, you know, shirtless and everything. Even in his dreams and even in some parts of the real world, they put him off as that. So it felt very, it felt like the camera was kind of going for the gaze, but not really the gaze with a Y.
Yeah.
But I do agree that with Grady, that I think he will confide in Grady a lot more than he did with Lisa,
But
even though he likes Lisa.
again, that's weird to me because him and Lisa are established to have a thing at the beginning. Like he's driving her to school. Like they already established the relationship. Like they're essentially a couple at the beginning of the film. Grady and him were not on good terms at all. And again, this film, the plot of this film is like literally a couple of weeks. And that's it. So you mean to tell me he can confide in his bully of a couple of weeks ago more than he can his girlfriend of possibly a month?
Who knows? I don't know. That is the weird part. But it's also funny that like the bully walls broke down relatively quickly when they were like they mutually were in trouble, and they're like, "Oh, yeah," and I'm just killing time. I'm just like, "What? Killing time?
Yeah.
What do you mean killing time?"
That's why he was bullying him.
And
he had no. I did like that he had no reason.
He literally had no reason.
He's just like, I don't know.
And I think that's probably what started the bond right there. Even though like it feels, I'm not gonna say it feels quick, but it just kind of like it just happens.
This whole movie feels quick.
Yeah,
it's less than 90.
Like
minutes.
I feel like Whiplash because there's so much that happens within, and like the parental supervision or lack thereof was astounding. Like they're like overprotective and then were not protective at the same time.
Well, I mean, the doors got locked. Okay, Jay.
Doors
There's not
did
a whole
get
lot
locked.
you can do when doors get locked.
Doors did get locked, and the parents were very, accepting of like things that may or may not happen at the pool party because they were about to get it in themselves with Lisa's parents. That was funny. The minute that this was the minute that like they left, they're like, all right, party on. I'm like, did y'all literally waited? Y'all even like kind of slowly get into it. I was like, oh, they're asleep, they're fucking.
I mean, yeah. You never had like friends over, and the moment your parents go to sleep, your buddy brings out the weed and you pop out the liquor?
No, because by that point, I was already old enough to do all of those somewhat legally.
Oh. I had friends over when I was a kid, and that's what we did.
The only person that I really had over was one of my best friends for a long time during high school. And like, we didn't really smoke or anything. We just like watch weird YouTube videos and like played Mario.
Dude, no, you haven't lived if you haven't like watched what is it that acid trip lizard?
Acid Trip Lizard?
I think that's what it's called. Or like
I'd rather watch Into the Void.
Anyway, the lizard that's like
what in the early YouTube are you talking about?
It is early YouTube.
Oh my god! What in the
You ever seen llamas and hats?
Charlie, that kills people.
It's Carl.
I keep
Carl.
I'm mixing up.
I had a hunger.
I mix up
hunger that only fingers could
Carl
satisfy.
And Charlie because of Charlie. You bit me.
Yeah,
first video. That was funny. And then like Carl, yeah. I always keep on mixing those two.
Were good. No, Acid Trip Lizard.
You know what? I remember salad
Who shares
fingers.
that? I hated salad fingers.
My brother, he loves himself some salad fingers. And I did not understand. I did not understand.
Remember old Greg? That shit was funny. What you doing here in my swamp? I'm old Greg.
Have you ever eaten? Have you ever eaten what from a shoe? Have you ever eaten soup from a shoe?
Bay leaves from a shoe. You ever drank bay leaves from a shoe?
And I was like, what was that from? Was that from like the Mighty Boosh? Oh, was that
it was something from Adult Swim. It was some show from Adult Swim.
I could have sworn that was like from the Mighty Boosh.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
It's like a little British show.
It might be.
They showed on
Adult
Swim.
Yeah. Fuck.
Actually, you know what? We're gonna look it up right now.
No,
you were gonna look it up right now.
No, we're getting to final thoughts.
Yeah, final thoughts. All right. Mighty Old Greg. I can't find it. You better be lucky this thing is acting up on me. Old Greg, Mighty Boosh.
Mighty Boosh.
Mighty Boosh. But
I'm gonna make you watch Acid Trip Lizard when we're done with this.
My god,
This shit is so funny. Not my chair, not my problem. That's what I always say. Sipping from cups. Oh, I think that's the name of the video. Sipping from cups, maybe.
Sipping from cups. Hopefully, it's still up
good.
on YouTube.
It is. It is. I've seen it recently.
Of course, you have. See, this is what he does on his free time.
I get bored, man.
I see.
Anyway, final thoughts. What would you rate this film? What was your favorite scene and all that good shit?
I don't even know how to feel about a rating. I'm thinking about a good solid 3. Like, I enjoyed myself. I understood the assignment, but I kind of understood where they were coming from when it comes like, okay, this is more of we're gonna stick something, we're gonna throw something into the sticks. But
start throwing shit at the wall, at the Freddy wall.
And it worked. And it worked itself out. It was kind of a cool movie. I do find it funny that they never really talked about the fact that Grady's dead. Like they know after he dies, they don't never mention him again after, like, you know, the final fight. Like that last little scene. That last little bus scene, they don't talk about him at all.
Well, yeah, no.
They don't talk about Grady at all. I'm like, ain't that your best friend that you confided in?
Well, they also don't talk about the incompetency of the cops not knowing that fucking Jesse killed the teacher. They literally said there's bloody footprints everywhere. And yet you still couldn't figure out that it was fucking Jesse? Why is Jesse going to school?
It's just...
Why ain't that motherfucker in jail? Maybe, I know he didn't do it, but still, though.
But I guess maybe it's because, you know, this is the 1980s. And he was he out in the rain, naked? Was it raining?
Yeah, it was raining, but it wasn't raining inside the gym.
It wasn't raining
where all the blood was.
It was not. It was not. I don't understand how that scene really... That's the only thing that got me. I don't see how that scene really worked. I'm not even gonna lie. That's the thing that kind of did probably take it out for me. It was like, when you think about like the logistics of that scene in the terms of the rest of the world, just like, I don't understand at all.
It makes
no
sense.
It really does cool, even especially setting up the whole, Jesse is Freddy thing. I like that part. But other than that, you're just like, I don't know. So
a lot of this movie doesn't make sense.
No, but it's still popular. So
yeah, and
it still gets talked about to this day as one of the gay horror movies. Even though that's gay in like the most
This like is gay basics. In like a metaphoric way.
Yeah, it's gay in a metaphorical way. It's like gay meta. Like, I feel like the only inference you can get is the fact that the lead is gay.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, again, I can kind of see where, like, if you're pulling at spaghetti noodles, maybe the whole Freddy being the gay monster, I see that.
But it gives the same energy as, like, half of the movies from the 1960s talking about the Red Scare, or, honestly, The Thing. I'm pretty sure The Thing was talking about, like, communism. Or like the 19...
I know the John Carpenter one, there's like a theory that it's about AIDS. I know that.
Honestly, I can see that too.
I know that one.
I can see that.
I don't know about communists. I know Among Us is about communism.
Oh my god.
So, anyway, I would rate it the same. I would rate it a 3. I like it. It's a good film. The pool scene, A1. Feel bad for the guy. He just tried to talk Freddy down. He would have been a good police negotiator. He would have been great. The guy that was all like, "It's okay. I thought you said your phone was on silent."
No, my phone was on silent.
You're a lying sack of shit.
I'm not a sack of shit.
You're right. You're not a sack. The pool scene was amazing. That alone gives it 3 stars.
Okay, let's do that. I'm here for that.
So, that was A Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kicking off Pride Month. Woo!
All right. So, what's our next film?
Next film is going to be 2019's Spiral. No, not the Jigsaw thing. Not the Saw, not the Chris Rock movie. This is Spiral, directed by Curtis David Harder.
Huh. Never heard of it.
Me neither.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Other than 2 films this month, I haven't seen or heard of any of these.
Oh, we're both gonna have a great time.
We're kind of going in blind
We're
on
going
this
in
one.
blind, yes.
So, evidently, it's not uncommon for there to be queer horror films. They're just not mainstream whatsoever.
The closest thing I got was like Ginger Snaps. That's the only one I know, and I was like a bunch of lesbian stuff, right?
I mean, you can take it that way. I never did. I always took it as just like a coming of age film. Only instead of a girl coming of age, she's turning into a werewolf. Oh, spoiler alert.
We'll edit that out. It's coming of age, all right.
So, join us next week when we're going to be tackling Spiral for the first time. I'm actually excited about this one. It's got decent reviews. I wouldn't say good.
Who's in it?
I don't fucking know. Jeffrey Boyer Champ and Ari Cohen.
I don't know who any of those people are. So we're gonna have a fun time.
Jennifer Laporte.
Still don't know.
Have no idea.
All right.
So, like the video if you like the video, hit that subscribe button and that bell notification. Check out all our other videos on YouTube and check us out on our podcast platforms.
And of course, you said all our social media. Comment, please let us know what you think.
Talk to Jay.
Talk to me.
He loves that shit.
I do. And give me a reason to keep being on Twitter.
Yeah, because Twitter sucks.
Depends. So, until then...
Until next time, I've been Heath.
And I've been Jay.
And you've been listening to
Host of Horrors.
Bye.